What's going on, guys? Liam here, and it's time to wrap up the semi-finals of the 2023 NRL season. And god damn, we had a couple of hidings. It was absolutely crazy, and I absolutely cannot wait to talk about it, and I can't wait to talk about who's going to win the damn thing, because that's the real question here. So in this video, guys, we'll go over the games that passed, we'll go over the matchups for next week, and yeah, talk about it. And I'm just blown away. Like, I haven't seen this in a long time where we've just had two clear-cut, two best teams. Look at these hidings. 38-4, 42-12. The weeks before, 26-0, 32-6. It's just, like, these two, they've been the two best teams all year, and then they just flexed on everyone in the finals. And, it's pretty damn crazy. I don't think I've been more excited for a grand final because there are so many questions, and we've got two really good teams in red hot form, playing their best footy, peaking at the right time. It's going to be damn good. It's going to be damn good. All right, guys. So in these videos, we'll go over each game individually. We'll talk about the stats, and I guess whenever we've got a big game the week after, and these teams are matching up, we're going to be talking about next week as well, sort of all entwined in this video as well. So I will do a proper full preview video once we have team lists and all that sort of stuff. But yeah, this video is more of a review, but we just can't help but talk about next week as well. So I'm going to be going over a bit of that too. Obviously not giving my full predictions, but we'll definitely have to talk about next week, because it's going to be huge. Now, just before we dive into the games, guys, if you can shoot me a sub, I would be much appreciated. Like I said, trying to get to 3,000 before the end of the year. We've got tons of awesome stuff planned for next year, so you're going to want to be subbed. If I've ever helped you, if I've ever won your punt. In fact, if you followed me this week, man, you would have made a ton of money. What I hit. We made 45 grand this weekend. I did put 10 down, but damn. We hit Penrith minus 6.5, and Liam Martin for 2 or more. Cleary to score 8 points, boom, hit. And then we had Herbie Farnsworth, Dallin, and both teams to score 10 points for another one. 25 and 20 grand. So if I've ever won your punt, shoot us a follow, shoot us a sub. And trust me, it's going to be worth it next year, man. I've got some cool stuff planned, some cool giveaways and stuff. All right. Now, let me just have a little chug the rest of this coffee. Damn. I can't remember a time, and I know this would have happened before, but I can't remember a time where two teams just went out and touched up the third and fourth best team in the comp. That is pretty damn crazy, man. And like I said, it's just made such a good storyline for next week. It's just like someone's got to lose. Like, these teams have both been they both deserve to win, but someone's got to lose. Like, one of these teams' years is going to be a failure. I don't think it's a failure, but that's what people will say. Absolutely crazy, man. All right, so let's dive into Penrith Melbourne first. Now, this game for me, actually, just before I do, that's actually what I wanted to do. Sorry, guys. So normally when I do these videos, right, I do them straight after the game finished. So normally I do it as soon as this game wrapped up. We'll talk about it while it's all fresh on the brain. But I really wanted to marinate on it for a night and just think about it, because sometimes we have recency bias. For example, I had it. When Penrith beat the Storm 38-4, I was like, it doesn't matter who's running up against Penrith next week. Any rugby league team that's ever laced up a pair of boots, put a jersey on, and ran out onto the field is losing to the Penrith Panthers next week. I don't care if it's the 90s or 80s. I don't care if it's the 2000s Melbourne Storm. I don't care if it's the cheating Melbourne Storm team. They're getting a hiding. And that's just, I was just like, no one can touch this team. I've never been so impressed with the team. And then Broncos win last night in such crazy fashion, and I was sitting there going, geez, I think Broncos might be the best. You know what I mean? You can't help. Whatever just happened, it feels like, you know what I mean? It's very hard to, sort of. And then it all sinks in. Like, I know there's so many people today going, last night they would have been going, I think Broncos are going to win it. Like neutral fans, I think Broncos are going to win it. And then it sort of sinks in, and then you marinate it on a bit more, and then you look at it and you go, oh, and then you start to realise. So I was really interested. So this is more talking about just how dominant Penrith have been, and then obviously I have to compare them to the Broncos as well. So I did the numbers for Penrith over the finals last year and the finals this year, right? Okay, so essentially Penrith Panthers have obviously played in the finals last year and played in the finals this year. Now they're 5-0 in finals last year and finals this year. They've scored 157 points and they've conceded 42 points. Their average is scored 31 and conceded 8 points. Okay, so that means, and this is the crazy part, they've only played top 4 teams in the finals because they haven't lost a game. They've been finishing the top 4. So essentially against top 4 teams over the past 2 years, they've averaged 32 points, 31.4 points, and conceded 8. So they're essentially averaging, touching up teams 32-8 against top 8 teams in the finals. That's how dominant Penrith have been. And that's the sort of stuff that now sinks in. I go, oh, okay. You know what I mean? You forget about, what happened the night before. Now, Broncos haven't played finals before. But what I did was I compared just them playing top 4 teams this year and how they went. So they've played 7 top 8 teams this year. They've won 4, lost 3. They've scored 165 points and conceded 117. So their average is they're scoring 23 points and conceding 16 points. That's actually really good. Like, to play top 4 teams, have a winning record, score 24 points, essentially concede 16, that's actually pretty damn good. But Penrith, it's just ridiculous. Like, this is ridiculous. 31-8 against top 8 teams in finals. Is that not crazy, man? And I know it's not a complete controlled study because obviously, but Broncos haven't been good enough to make the finals last year. Weren't good enough to make the finals last year. But like I said, they've had some really they've had some nice wins in here, like 26-0 against a top 4 team, 42-12. But they've lost a few as well. But yeah, like I said, that was mind blowing to me, and I needed to do those sort of numbers to go, all right, cool. Like, yeah, Broncos were elite last night, but let's not forget who the Panthers are, sort of thing. Because those numbers are absolutely mind-blowing to me, man. 31.4-8 against top 4 teams in the finals over the past 2 years. Wow. Absolutely nuts. Absolutely nuts. All right, let's get into the actual game now. All right, so this game now, he started Nelson, he put Garlick in at 9, and he put Harry Grant in on the bench. Now, I'm not a huge fan of this, but also I don't think Bellamy has much of a choice. It's just sort of sorry, I just got a message. I just think he's a forward or 2 short, and you know what I mean. It's just the situation he's in, and he sort of has to do it this way. I think he would like Harry Grant on the field the whole time, but I just feel like, I feel like he front loaded his energy. He was going to try and bash Penrith as best they could. And then hopefully Harry Grant, maybe they can get out to an early start. Maybe they can get ahead. Storm are great front runners, and maybe that Harry Grant comes on and, can keep that thing going, sort of thing. Now, the thing about Penrith's pack is it's big, it's strong, but it's not the biggest pack in the world. Like, you actually Tui and Nelson weigh substantially more than Fisher Harris and Moses Leota. They're big, powerful boys, but these are ridiculously big human beings, and it's not like you can't. Like, there's been times where Penrith's pack's been like, you'd never say dominated, but the other forward pack's on top. You know what I mean? It's just, especially off kickoffs. Now, the way Penrith really get their sets rolling is, and how they smoke you through meters is, it's when they're in the grind. And I'll explain. If you go back and watch this game, you'll see exactly what I mean, right? So off kickoffs, right? Like Moses Leota, yeah, he takes strong carries and he'll hit the line, bang, but he's not like the size of a Payne Haas or a Nelson who's literally going to hit and drag 4 blokes 5 meters. Like if you get 2 or 3 in the tackle and make good contact, you'll put him down where the contact is. Same as Fisher Harris, but and Melbourne Storm did a really good job of doing that. Like in the Penrith's first set, I think they made 25 metres. And, but the thing that Penrith do is when the grind starts and the ball stays in play, yeah, that's when they go to work. Your Taws, your things, they get the set rolling so good. And then when you kick the ball down, they limit your metres. So there was a period in this game where Melbourne's full pack was on top. They were genuinely, I think, Melbourne were probably averaging just roughly, say, 39 metres a set, 30, maybe 40, 42, and Penrith were getting restricted to low 30s. But then the grind happened. All those guys start rolling their sleeves up. Fisher Harris and Moses Leota, they're more there to limit the other team's metres than make their own. They started limiting their meters, and then you just watch them slowly wrestle it back. And then I think it was the first try. How many minutes in was that? No, it wasn't the first. This second try. After this second try, off the kickoff, Penrith made 70 meters. Like they went from making 30 something to 70, just like that. And as soon as I saw that set, it's only 12-0 at this point. Or 12, I think it was 10-0, because I think Cleary missed a penalty, missed a goal. Yeah, he missed the first one. So it's 10-0. When I saw that set, I was like, the game's over. Yeah, we're 20 minutes in, but I was just like, okay, Melbourne have completely lost the middle now. They were owning it, but Melbourne could only hold Penrith's middle for 20 minutes, and then it was over. And then the meters started flowing, and then obviously if we have a look here, you can see they won the meters battle handily. Like, it's not close. Like, they ran an extra 500 metres, for God's sakes. So, yeah, that's when I knew the game was over. Like I said, you can match Penrith's pack for a while, but can you match it for 80? That's the problem. Like, pretty much every team, every big game Penrith have had this year, teams have been, that they can match it for 20, but can you do it for 80? That's the issue. And the problem that it's the way they play, it makes it so hard too, because like I said, like you can contain Fisher and Moses for a little bit, but then these guys just go, yeah, we got you boys, and they start going to work, and then these guys go, cheers, and let's stop these meters. You know what I mean? These guys start stopping your meters, folding you, dragging you. Like the amount of times Fisher Harris was the first bloke down after a kick chase is just, he's a freak. Like, he's an absolute freak. And he grabs, bends, folds, puts pressure on the forward. It's absolutely ridiculous. And, yeah, like I said, 20 minutes into this game, I was like, this is going to be a blowout. Like, Melbourne aren't close. Like, if they could only hold on for 20 minutes, and then the meters, like, literally just started flowing like crazy, it was going to be a long night for Melbourne. And they were really, really never in this, because even in that 20-minute period where they were on top, Penrith was still ahead. They're ahead 10-6. So, and Justin Olam's try, I was actually quite surprised. It was just a really bad one-on-one miss from Tago. We don't see that too often. I was actually like, oh, damn, that was just a bad miss. Now, it could have just been a bad miss. They do just happen. It could have just been Olam's a monster. It was a pretty poor miss from Tago. And to be honest, when he came back in the team, I think he's going to be, and if not, has already shown that he's going to be one of the best centres in the game. He's freaky, but he was probably the worst on the park. He was normally Penrith 1 through 17, amazing. Tago was actually pretty poor. I was actually pretty surprised. He just didn't, had some nice runs and stuff like that, but yeah, he was definitely a little poor. It was. it's 2 games in 10 weeks or something like that. So, it happens from time to time. He's coming back in a pretty big game, and he's playing a monster. You know what I mean? Like, Justin Holland's an absolute monster. So, but he's definitely going to have to be better. He's going to be up against, Stags or Herbie? I'm not too sure. That's going to be freaky. But, so we'll have a quick look at some player stats. I mean, I just want to give Isaiah Yeo a rap. Jesus Christ. Like, 210 metres straight through the middle, 66 post-contact, 6 tackle busts. I mean, let's have a look at it, see if he made a missed tackle. Yeah, he did. 4. Not too bad when you're in the middle for a full game. Absolutely crazy. Nathan Cleary, he's getting so damn close. If he plays the way he plays for just say the next 5 years, how long till 20? He's 25 now, so the next 5 years, he's damn near close to GOAT status. Like he's doing stuff that I've just never seen before from such a young halfback, and he's 2-3 years away from his prime, and he's already head and shoulders above the rest for me. He's just absolute freak. I mean, what I found most crazy about this is he was damn near perfect, but he wasn't perfect. He did kick a ball dead early in the game, gave a second tackle set, and then he did another one where it wasn't actually too long because the not Drinkwater, what's the fullback's name? Nick Meaney went to put his foot back to. It actually was a perfect kick, but they kept saying, a couple poor kicks there. Well, technically the second one was perfect because it landed a metre out and Meaney didn't have his foot back and they actually challenged it. And what I found most crazy was, to me, I looked at it, I'm like, okay, so Cleary played above and beyond, super, super crazy, super high level, blah, blah, blah. But he had one bad kick, which is just, it happens. And then in the post-press conference, they asked if he could be better, and he's like, wasn't a question whether he could be. I'm like, that is so scary. Like, he was one kick away from having, in my opinion, one of the great finals performances, and he's sitting there going, way off. What, bro? How perfect are you trying to be, man? Like, you had 1.5 bad kicks in a game of footy. Like. You're ridiculous, bro. And there's been a couple of things about Nathan Cleary where I'm sitting here going, this guy is going to be the GOAT, right? And it's all to do here. Like, it's his mindset. Like, I watched him on Ice's, so the YKTR or SEM, whatever, he's rebranded his thing to Ice. He did an interview. If you haven't seen it, watch it. Like, his mindset is so scary. Like he does not think he's very good. Like, it's actually, like, he's obviously extremely confident, but, like, he does not, zero excuses, and what was scary is, I kept hearing all this chat, right, about, why wouldn't you leave Penrith? You've done everything. I kept hearing that about all players, you've won a premiership, why not? And to me, he kept saying something like, he's like, I want to be the greatest of all time, or, I want to do things that have never been done before, you know what I mean? Like Penrith haven't accomplished anything that they have. Like, going to 4 grand finals in a row is great. These interviews happened before that, though. Like, a team, like, if they don't win this weekend, they still have, Parramatta still has a record over them, you know what I mean? Like, and then even if they win this year, if they go for 4 in a row, that's breaking. Like, all they're doing is equaling Parramatta's record from the 80s. You know what I mean? So, like, there was just, to me, it was just scary that he was like, people were sort of saying, like, they've already done everything, and he was sitting there going, there's so much more to accomplish. I was like, that's so scary. That means he's going to continuously work on his work. He's going to continually trying to get better. He realises there is so much. Because I kept saying that. I'm like, what are you talking about? Teams have won more than what Penrith have won. Why are you sitting there saying, like, they've done everything? They haven't. Like, Penrith and Nathan Cleary want to be the best of all time. And there's still premierships. There's still Dally M's to win. There's still all this stuff to do that he hasn't done yet. It was just so scary because I know what he can do physically, but to see his mind right, I was like, oh my God, like the NRL's in trouble, man. Like, it's absolutely scary, man. And yeah, his performance and what I found, another thing from that interview, what I found really interesting was, he's like didn't like his ball playing at all. Like he's like, like, oh, I need to be better. I think, I do all the clinical stuff good, but I'd love to be able. There was a couple passes he threw in this game where he actually said, they said who. So I said, who would you want to try and ball play like? And he said Cody Walker. I love the way Cody Walker ball plays. He did 2 passes in this game where I was like, oh, that was Cody Walker like the way he almost, like, Cody Walker gets it, he holds it, and he almost like jacks it up. Like it's a very subtle thing, and it's a pass. But it had a very Cody Walker. One was to Taruva and one was on the other side. That was the other thing, swinging to both sides. I hadn't really seen Cleary do that a whole heap. Normally he's very structured in one pocket, but I saw Luai and him swap positions and stuff like that. And yeah, I was like, oh dang, his ball playing's getting better. Like, like if Nathan Cleary starts ball playing like Cody Walker, it's over. Like, you don't understand. It's over. Man, scary stuff, man. But yeah, I was just blown away at how good he was. So it was so funny after the game. They almost talked his performance down. Oh, he only had 1 line break assist and a try assist. What are you talking about, man? That is so good. Brian To'o, I'm prepared to say he's the best winger I've ever seen of all time. Like, I have never seen a winger do what he does. It is absolutely enormous. He's just, 181 metres, which is pretty quiet by his standards. 46 post contact, but they were kicking away from him. 4 line breaks, 9 tackle busts. Just, he ripped through the middle. He burst through Tarek Sims and Christian Walsh. He ran directly at him, went bang, and they both skittled off him. 2 props. Like, who does that, bro? Someone drug test that boy. Like, what the hell? The Samoan soldier. What a freak. That is so scary, man. Like, it is just absolutely crazy. Absolutely crazy. Fisher Harris and Moses Leota, I thought they just did their job, got through their work. I thought Spencer came on and added some spark. I thought he was pretty good as well. And the good thing about both these wins for both these teams, they both got to rest players. Luai came off for the Panthers. Paddy Carrigan he came off. I dare say if the game tightened up, he would have come back on, but there was no need. And Reece Walsh and Adam Reynolds got to come off in this as well. So not only did both teams dominate, they got to rest players for next week too. So absolutely bananas. But we'll get through to the Storm now. Storm, look, at the end of the day, if the Tigers had the season the Melbourne Storm had, we'd be talking about how great it was. But because it's the Melbourne Storm, we're sort of talking about how disappointing it was. But I just really didn't understand what went on here. Big Nelson starts, then only plays 34 minutes. He got absolutely owned. Christian Welsh as well. He's just not it. I've never been a huge fan of this guy. Apparently he's a really smart footy player, and that's why he's in this team. But you're playing 30 minutes and you miss. Yeah, it's just Harry Grant as well. I actually did a TikTok video about this, and I'm not dissing Harry Grant as well because it's sort of weird. But I've always felt like Harry Grant was a smidge overrated. But the funny thing is, I still think he's the best hooker in the game. And if I'm putting together a 10, like, pick the best team you can pick, Snaggy, I'd be like, well, Harry Grant's my hooker. But I do think he is slightly overrated still. I think it's more the fact that because he sort of was Cam Smith's successor and they had success immediately, with him there, and he's sort of strolled into all the rep teams and he's been super elite, and I feel like people almost put him on Cam Smith's level, and I just don't think he's anywhere near that yet. Like, I still think Harry Grant has heaps of work to do in his game, but having said that, I still think he's the best number 9 in the game. But I think it's literally him, and then the next tier of hookers are like right on his butt. I don't think he's substantially better than all the other hookers in the game. I think this is the difference. So Cam Smith's best game and Cam Smith's worst game are here. Harry Grant's best game is up here, like probably on Cam Smith's level. and then his worst games are way down here. Like he has stinkers, and he had a stinker on the weekend. Like he had 7 or 8 missed tackles, 7 missed tackles, 1 ineffective. Like in the middle, that's actually pretty hard to do, man. Like the thing, missed tackles on the edges. Like I bet you Jerome Hughes and Munster have a few missed tackles, right? Like 5 or 6, but they're out on an edge, sort of thing. Missed tackles. Yeah, so Warbrick too. So 6 and 6. So, but when you're in the middle, you've got props, you've got second rollers surrounding you, you got locks, and you gang tackling dudes. To miss 7 and have an ineffective tackle in the middle of the park is a bit rough. It's pretty high. But I also thought he got away with 3 or 4 forward passes. Like if you put 3 or 4 forward passes on top of this performance, that was an awful game, like an F. Like Harry Grant gets an F in this game. I'd probably give it a C-, like as just fail or just pass. It wasn't a horrendous game or anything like that, but yeah, he definitely can. Yeah, he definitely needs some work. All he needs to do is close the gap between his best and worst games, and he's going to be. Well, he already sort of. This is the thing. He already sort of is the premier hooker. So it's bizarre, but all I'm saying is Harry Grant can have a stinker. That's all. That's the point I'm trying to get across. But yeah, so like pretty dismal performance from the Melbourne Storm. I mean, now these numbers from Penrith, like, you're going to get blown away here. And it's going to be really cool to compare them to the Broncos as well. I haven't actually put them side by side yet. Now, this right here was at 97% with about 10 minutes to go. They made a few errors at the end of the game because knew they'd won the game. But you want to see, this is how much they starved Melbourne in the ball. Okay? They completed 65%. Let's just say they completed at 100%. They still would have completed 10 less sets than the Penrith Panthers, man. They had the ball 47 times to 32. That's how much of a hiding this was. That's how much they starved them of the ball. That is insane. They did this to the fourth best team in the comp. 1,800 metres to 1,300. 528 post-contact to 369. Eight line breaks to 4, doubled their line breaks. 50 tackle breaks to 29. Like, this is insane. This is absolute. Now, they did actually win the ruck, especially at the start of the game. They did a really good job of winning the ruck. Like, they were getting really nice quick play the balls. Having said that, let's see the penalty count. I bet you they didn't give many penalties. 4 penalties conceded. I really felt, okay, and I know people are going to be like, oh, Penrith is protected, blah, blah, blah. I genuinely felt like Penrith made a really concerted effort to not give penalties. I feel like Penrith normally hold teams down longer. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, because Storm are so good off set starts, I actually feel like, and I might be wrong, I don't know if this was a tactic, but I was watching them. Bang, they'd get a play, and they'd almost jump up with their hands up like this. Like, if you go back and watch the game, Liam Martin did it 3 times. He jumped, grabbed, and then the second that, like, any movement sort of stopped, he actually jumped up like this. I actually think it was a tactic to make sure they didn't give penalties to Melbourne, because Melbourne is so good off set starts. And that's what probably led, because it didn't feel like they were dominating the ruck. It didn't feel like they were playing the ball so much faster than Penrith. But yeah, but that sort of makes sense now I look at this, because, yeah, they only gave 4 penalties. And I know people are going to go, oh, the refs were only giving... Nah, Penrith were jumping... Like, they were jumping off. Like literally jumping off with their hands back. The second momentum had sort of stopped in the tackle. So I maybe feel like, yeah, that's how they thought Penrith would win the game, through slowing it down. They obviously wanted a quicker game, and they didn't mind giving a quicker play the ball that way, because, yeah, that's actually... I didn't actually think that. I hadn't seen this stat. This is the first time I sort of saw it, that they were playing the ball substantially quicker than the Melbourne Storm. But I did see about 3 or 4 times, I'm like, geez, they're jumping off quick. Like, you know what I mean? So that must have been a tactic, and if it was, Ivan, you're the best coach, bro. You're playing chess, man. You're playing 3D chess. Offloads 8 to 7. What else have we got here? Kicking meters. Jesus Christ, Cleary's got a boot. Tackle efficiency, 85. Penrith definitely need to work on that a little. Missed tackles. I mean, like I said, if you're under 30, you're great. But for how much, that number's obviously a bit lower because 29 missed tackles with how many sets Melbourne only had isn't tremendous. Like, it's not ridiculously good, but it's still pretty damn solid. Melbourne missed 50 tackles and had 12 ineffective. Wow. 13 errors, that won't get it done to 8. If this is under 10, you're fine. But like I said, this was about 4. It's ridiculous. And then 4 penalties conceded to 9. Absolutely brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Now, it'll be interesting to see how Penrith, if they do that tactic against the Broncos, because you don't want Broncos getting quick play the balls, because they will shred you apart. The Broncos are probably the best team at playing off quick play the balls. They're absolutely elite. So maybe they're happy to give them away. But anyway, absolutely brilliant from the Storm. Like I said, I went over those numbers. Brilliant from the Penrith Panthers. It's absolutely wild what they're doing, man. Absolutely wild. All right, let's get on to the Storm versus the Wars. Now, I'm going to sit here and talk about how great Broncos were, but I do want to just give the Warriors a massive rap. It was such a good performance from them. Not just this game, the year. I don't care what anyone says. People are going to be like, they suck, they got robbed, blah, blah, blah. They tried their asses off all year, and they're only going to be better for it. They've got a full team now with tons of finals experience. They've played together. They've built something. So shout out to the Wars. You're only going to be better next year. You're getting players. You got a full year under your belt. You got 3 finals games experience under your belt now. You're only going to be better for it. So up the Wars next year. You got this. Now, before we do get into this, I do want to chat about the refs. I don't like talking about the refs, but Jesus Christ, that dude, please don't be doing the semi-final and the grand final, because he was awful. And it was against. Now, I'll explain this real quick, right? Let's just say this was an under-10s game. And in America, where they don't keep score, they don't keep score now because it's toxic masculinity to keep score, apparently. If you just watch these games and just looked at just the stats, Broncos were better. Like they won every stat. Like they were better than, like they literally win every stat. Like other than the quick play the balls, but it's like they were better. But Warriors dead set got dudded multiple times. And what pissed me off, right? Okay, if there's a bad... Let's say that forward pass at Reece Walsh, the Denver Broncos quarterback, Peyton Manning, thought so far forward it wasn't funny. This is the problem I have with that call, right? Wade Egan's got... He got... I've always been not a fan, but like... Wade Egan threw a pass which every commentator... so I'm completely neutral in this game. I have no bias, right? Every Broncos fan thinks it went forward. Every Warriors fan thinks it went back. I'm neutral. All the commentators I was listening to were neutral. They didn't care who won this game. When Wade Egan threw that pass, where the game was sort of on the line, at half, it was getting close to half time. Actually, I can't remember exactly when it was, but it was back. Like, it was a terrible call. Now, that ref would have got to see that replay and saw, to me, the second the Broncos even throw a line ball, you have to blow a forward pass. Like, you have to at least try to even that up. Like, and then not only that, Broncos threw the biggest forward pass I have ever seen. and then threw another one 10 seconds later. And let them both go. That was ridiculous. That's what pissed me off. If they just happen to miss one of those Broncos forward passes, whatever, it happens, man. But the fact that he blew one forward to Wade Egan, and then 2 in a row happened against the Warriors, that pissed me off. Like I said, I'm all for the all these people are like, man, talk about the refs. I'm like, no, bro, they made a mistake. It happens. Like, I don't want to blow the refs up. But that pissed me off, the fact that they blew one forward to Wade, and then they'd missed 2 for the Broncos. Like, that's terrible, man. That is... Like, let's even say the Wade Egan one didn't happen, right? Let's say the first Reece one happened, and you're like, oh, geez, that probably was forward, but I missed it. Can't call it now. And then the next one happened, you still don't call it? Bro, that is awful. That was such bad. And I totally get why the Warriors are pissed off about that. That was so bad. That was awful. And it just... I still think the Broncos would have won, but what I'm pissed off at is that they both sort of happened in crucial times. I think it could have robbed us of a better game. Like, Broncos didn't even care that they won. They're like, yeah, we won by 42. Like, you know what I mean? It was just like, I felt like we could have had a better cliffhanger of a game if Wade Egan doesn't get, like, they were about to be in attacking position. Let's say they score, then all of a sudden it's 24-18 at halftime. You know what I'm saying? And if that try doesn't get pulled up, then momentum comes back. Warriors are now in attacking position. You get what I'm saying? So I still think the Broncos would have won. I still think they were better, but we possibly could have got robbed of a really good ending to a game. And that's what pissed me off just as a fan, sort of thing. Now, like I said, Warriors went down swinging. They got everything went against them in this game, and they were outgunned as well. I sort of called this one. I definitely felt like the discrepancy was out here in the centres. Herbie Farnsworth had a day out, son, and I'm so glad I picked him in as my try scorer. But yeah, it was just, it was an absolute clinic. The Broncos were absolutely brilliant. Forward pack dominated. Not hiding, but they definitely dominated. And like I said, they were so good they got to actually rest players in this. There wasn't really many mistakes. Like, they offloaded like crazy in this game. Like, what were the offload counts? 23-14. Like, that is more than... That was their season high in offloads, and they did it in a semi-final. Now, I found this really interesting. Now, was this a tactic? Because it has probably been the one thing that does trouble Penrith, is offloads. Parramatta have done it. But this is the problem, though. And this is what people say, oh, like, do you have the cojones to go in and start hoofing the ball around in a grand final against the best team of the past decade? Like, you get what I'm saying? Like, do you have... So teams have done it against Penrith in games, but when there's not much on the line. But do you have the plums to do that in a grand final? So it works, but it also doesn't work. So I've used this as an example. Like, lots of people... I don't know why people keep doing this. They keep referencing when Manly played the Penrith Panthers, right? And they go, oh, well, it nearly worked. Like, the way they played, like kicking early and just playing. They lost the game, man. Like, they lost. Parramatta have the best win rate against Penrith over the past 3 years. And it works, okay? But this is the issue as well. And I'm not saying it wouldn't work, and I'm not saying, like, you do it. But they also have a losing record against Penrith. They just have the best... Like, they've won more games against Penrith than any team over the past 3 years. But Penrith have still beat Parramatta more than Parramatta have beat Penrith. So, yeah, it works, but it also doesn't work. But I found that real interesting. Now, offloading like that, just talking about next week, to be able... Like, you can't just offload willy-nilly. Like, we see teams... What's a team that offloads a bit where it's just trash? I'm trying to think of a team. St. George did it a bit. They just turn and they just go and like fold it out the back. It's not how you offload, bro. Like, Brad Arthur, you love Brad Arthur as a coach. You don't offload unless you win the collision. Bang, hit, spin, arms free. Yep, who wants it? That's when you offload, and that's what Broncos did last night. They only offloaded when they won the collision. It was great. It was really, really good. You know, you see, bloody Pangai Jr., perfect example. He'll hit, great grab, turn, and just go and flop it out. Why did you do that, bro? Like, what is the point? You only do it when you win the collision. And Broncos did. Paddy was just, Jesus Christ. But yeah, I found this real interesting. Was that we'll try this? Because Warriors have a similar-ish style to the Penrith Panthers. We'll give this game plan a run. Yeah, it's interesting. Like, But again, like, do you have the plums to do it in the grand final? Do you have the plums? Yeah, let's have a little look at some of these team stats. And man, Reece Walsh was. I said this before. I was not a harsh critic of Reece. That's probably the wrong word. I wasn't as high on Reece as everyone when he came in to the league. Not because I didn't know how good he was. I read stats and I saw how many errors he made. I watch him lose Warriors games as well as win them for them. I watched Reece Walsh single-handedly lose Warriors games last year. And you know what I'm saying? And like I didn't think he would come he has been pretty poor in games for the Broncos this year, very rarely. But one thing I'll give him, like, he's running away with the lead in errors in the NRL. Like, it's not close. Like, he's literally 10 errors ahead of second. Like, he's that far ahead. But what I've been most impressed with is in big games, he just finds a way to put it away a little bit. Like, he threw a terrible pass for an intercept for a try. But what did he do then? He put it away for a little bit. He got back into the grind. And then he tried some stuff later. Like, it's just a really nice balance. He's like, I dare say, like, Adam Reynolds is helping him there. Like, having that player just be like you don't let it get you down and you stop drying stuff, but you don't need to be like, we don't need to try and score every time we have the ball. You only need to score 4 tries to win a game most of the time. Like, we don't need to score in all 32 sets like we get in a game. So, yeah. And the other thing is too, like, he's a little sketchy under the high ball sometimes, but he's just not in big games. It's really, really bizarre. And I do think it, like I said, I've said it before, even though he's got terrible handling errors, I actually don't think it's because some players just have bad hands. For example, I think Cobbo has pretty bad hands. You remember Marty Vadavai, he had bad hands. Corey Oates for the Broncos as well, just not great hands. I actually think Reece has brilliant hands. I just think he gets too excited and just, like, he tries to step before he's even caught the ball and stuff like that. And and he just really puts that away in big games. So absolutely brilliant. I mean, 146 metres, 1 line break, 6 line break assists and 3 try assists. What the hell? That is insane. That is insane. Wow, what a freak. Who else we got? Adam Reynolds. He was damn near perfect, man. I thought Ezra Mann had a good game. I thought he was really good in defence, actually. I thought he was going to get targeted and he just stood up. Payne Haas, best game I've seen him play, period. And it wasn't close. That was his best performance. And second place was last week, and this one was so much better than that, it wasn't funny. Payne Haas went to a new level. He was up against who I thought maybe he'd been better than him this year. Not last night. Payne was substantially better. Pat Carrigan in 50 minutes. I mean, I haven't looked at his stats, but 136 metres, 49 posts. Like, Jesus Christ. 2.6 second play the ball. That is stupid. Oh, man. Let's go back here for one second. Let's have a look. Can we have a look at some of the matchups we got next week, son? Oh, we don't have the team list out yet. God damn it. We got some Paddy Carrigan versus Isaiah Yeo. I mean, Isaiah Yeo runs for 220 and then Paddy Carrigan's like, yeah, watch this. Jesus Christ. That is ridiculous. Man, I remember them talking up Paddy, and I've said this story a few times, and I see him around a little bit. He must live close by to me. They're like, oh, future Australian captain, future this, future that. And I know I mightn't look like the biggest guy, but I'm 6'3", I'm nearly 110. When I saw Paddy around, he's not big. Like, and I was just, when they were saying this stuff, I'm like, what? That guy? Little Paddy? Yeah, bro, little Paddy. He's a monster. He's so good. I'm blown. Lucky I'm not a scout for the Brisbane damn Broncos, because that dude would have been playing for the West Tigers if I was in there. Jesus Christ, he is so damn good. I thought Fleggs was good. Kurt Capewell had one of his better games. I thought Ricky had one of his better games. I actually thought Brisbane's bench was pretty poor, just quietly. I saw a. When I say poor, I just mean you notice the bench players are on. Like when Moses Leota and Fisher Harris go off, I don't really notice. I knew that the Broncos bench players were on, but having said that, they still held their own against the Warriors. It was fine. But you can definitely notice when Flegler, Payne Haas, and Pat Carrigan were on the field. It was like I said, I really enjoyed this game. I just would have enjoyed it so much more if the refs just didn't call that Wade Egan call and those 2-4, but it ruined the game for me. Like I enjoyed 9 things out of 10 for this, but unfortunately the one thing that sort of really put a big damper on it for me. And if you've been watching my videos all year, how many times have I complained about the refs? Like never. Like this is literally the first time. This was so bad. It was just awful. And it was, like I said, I hate to go over it again, but it was more the fact that Wade Egan's got pinched and those two didn't. Like, it's just, if Wade's, I've already said it. Let's have a look at some of these team stats. All right, so 82 completion rate, that'll get it done. That's actually pretty good for the Broncos. Ran for 1,900 metres, post-contact 600. Like I said, Broncos are a little susceptible to playing the ball slow. Paddy Carrigan's not. But it's more their outside, their backs, like, for example, Taruva, Dylan Edwards, Crichton, Tago will get you lightning quick play the balls. Sometimes the Broncos can get bogged down. Selwyn, if you put Selwyn on his back, it's a 10-second play the ball. Herbie Farnworth, Jesus Christ. I forgot to go over his stats. Jesus Christ, he was good. But I've just got a little bone to pick with him. So 2 tries, 232 metres, 81 post-contact, 3 line breaks, 7 tackle breaks. He was freakishly good. But Herbie, bro, if someone brushes your face, I know you're a good-looking bloke. Get up and play the ball, man. Your team needs you to play the ball. Someone brushes him and he just play the ball, bro. Your team needs to quick play the ball. No one cares that someone brushed your whiskers. He had 3 slow play the balls last night where, Broncos are on top. Who cares? But it just pissed me off. I'm like, why are you playing for a penalty when you're up by 30? Just play the ball, bro. Like, Jesus Christ, that pissed me off. And I was so stoked. He played so good. But that pissed me off. There was a time when the game sort of was in the balance, and he got brushed, like one of those ones where it like grazes your whiskers and slides down the bottom of your neck and onto your shoulders, and he's like, oh, and he stayed. I'm like, bro, get up! Like, your team needs a quick play of the ball now, and you're laying on the ground. Like, he didn't stay down. He just he just got up, like he was moaning, like, why didn't I get a penalty? It just pissed me off, bro. Like, your team needs you to be quick. But yeah, absolutely. Like, having said that, he was good. He was so damn good. Oh, he killed him. All right, so like I said, there was a few back 5 can get bogged down a little bit. Tony Staggs, shout out to him. Complete opposite. Tony Staggs got clipped high a few times and just got up and played the ball really quick, absolutely brilliant. So shout out to Katoni. He was absolutely freaky. Missed a few tackles, but I love his energy. I'd love to be his second rower. I'd love to be Katoni's second rower. He'd be absolutely brilliant. Who else we got here? What else we got here? Kick defusal, 78%. Bombs. Yeah, I definitely felt like Sean Johnson's kicking game was a little off. Missed tackles 31, that'll get it done. And 48 missed tackles for the Warriors, 9 errors to 10. All right, so there we go. There you have it. Broncos were awesome. Penrith were awesome. Let's should we compare these side by side? Let's have a little look-see. Broncos versus the Penrith Panthers. Who had the better stat? Who won? Who had the more impressive stats? All right, so Team stats. Penrith 56% of the ball. Sorry, guys. Jeez, I'm going to have vodka cruiser for breakfast. Breakfast of champions. All right. So 87% completion rate, 41 completed out of 47. Broncos 33, so 82 to 87. So Penrith got them there a little bit. All right, attack. So meters gained. Penrith 1800 to 1900 for the Broncos. Broncos get them there. Post contact. Broncos get them. Line breaks. Broncos got them. Tackle breaks 48 to 50. Penrith win that one. What else we got? We got play the ball speed. Broncos get them. Broncos are winning. Broncos are winning the comp. Offloads 23 to 8. Broncos again. What other important stats do we have? This is like groundbreaking stuff here, guys. Groundbreaking analysis. Tackle efficiency 85 each. Missed tackles. This will be important for next week. 31 to the Broncos, 29 to the Panthers. Intercepts 1 to 0. Panthers win that. Ineffective tackles 21 each. Damn. Errors 8. Broncos 10. Penalties conceded 4 to 5. Pretty damn even, man. Pretty damn even. I felt like Panthers stats were better, but they I guess technically are slightly, but pretty damn even, man. Both touch-ups, both hidings. How many tries? 6 tries to 7 tries. Oh, Reynolds with the better boot. Who would have thunk it? 5 from 6, or 2 from 2 conversions. Oh, damn, crazy. But yeah, looking ahead to next week, guys, I mean, it's just going to be such a good game, man. Like, it's pretty rare we have two teams that have been so much better at the absolute peak of their powers at absolute full strength. Like, I know Penrith will be missing Tiny May, but they've missed him all year. It's going to be so damn good. And the prices, $1.65 to Broncos, $2.25. I guess a few advantage for Melbourne. Extra day off. They got to sit back. Penrith's coaching staff would have just got to sit back last night, watch Brisbane Broncos and just dissect their attack and defence. They're already, like, Penrith Panthers would have been doing all their recovery while Broncos are out there smashing at each other. I guess another advantage for Penrith is they technically get an extra day because Broncos are going to have a day of travel. Penrith, they just need a bus ride over to the stadium. Broncos will have to travel down to Sydney. So a couple of little advantages there for Penrith. Yeah, but Jesus Christ, all I know is bring it the hell on, and I can't wait. Let's go, son. This is going to be good. But yeah, look, I see these odds as just about right. I do believe Penrith, just for a few reasons I've mentioned, and just like Parramatta said it last year, and I'm not even tipping Penrith right now. Like I said, I'm doing my tips on Tuesday. Like sometimes you feel like you're the best team in the league, and then you get to the grand final and you go, oh, it's just different. But we'll have to wait and see, man. I absolutely cannot wait. All right, guys. Thank you all so much for watching. Like I said, Tuesday night I'll record and probably drop Wednesday morning full preview video. So keep an eye out for that one. And like I said, guys, if you can, shoot us a sub. That would mean so much to me, guys. And thank you all so much for watching, guys. And I'll see you on the next one.